Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into this really fascinating text, the Duhua Qiankun Win. Now, it's a short guide, but it is packed with a powerful and honestly pretty counterintuitive way of looking at the world. So let's get right into it. And boom, right out of the gate, the text hits us with this: fishing in a forest. I mean, just picture that for a second. It's such a perfect way to describe trying to solve a problem with the completely wrong tool, right? The text is basically telling us up front, your normal way of thinking, that logical, analytical mind you rely on, it's not going to work here. To get what comes next, we've got to be willing to put that tool down. So why do we need this whole new approach? Well, it all starts with the text challenging our most fundamental assumption that the world we see and feel and live in is actually solid and real. A flash, a bubble, dew, lightning. The text uses this really beautiful but, incredibly temporary imagery to make a huge point. It argues that everything we spend our lives chasing, success, stuff, status, it's all just as fleeting. Now, this isn't supposed to be depressing. It's the whole reason we need a new map. The landscape we thought was permanent, it's actually shifting under our feet all the time. Okay. So, if the world is basically an illusion, what are the usual traps we fall into while trying to make our way through it? Well, the text is super clear and points out two major obstacles that get in our way. So, first up is the ego. The original text calls it 我执, which kind of means ego attachment, or this constant grasping for a self. You know that voice in your head, the one that's always going, I, me, mine? That's it. It's that part of us that's always comparing, always competing, and always feels separate from everyone and everything else. And yeah, the text does not pull any punches here. It doesn't just call the ego a little personality flaw. It says it's the very source of a demonic mind. The idea is that this obsession with self is what completely corrupts our thinking and leads to all this conflict both inside ourselves and out in the world. So the big takeaway here is that the very first step on this path is just recognizing this internal saboteur. All right, on to the second trap. And honestly, this one is even more surprising. It's our own intelligence. The text actually warns us that our knowledge, our cleverness, the very things our society rewards us for, can become a huge roadblock on the spiritual path. And this comparison just lays it all out. On the one hand, you have this radical idea that piling up facts and academic knowledge can actually leave you spiritually poor. And on the other hand, it praises the childlike mind, totally open, curious, not weighed down by all these preconceived notions. It's not saying don't learn, but it's a huge warning against letting what you think you know close you off from real wisdom. Okay, so we talked about the illusion and the traps. What's the way out? Well, the text offers up a kind of tour guide's route map, and let me tell you, the path it lays out is probably not at all what you're expecting. Yep, that's right. The path to enlightenment isn't found in some complex ritual or deep abstract meditation. It's in the most humble, earthy tasks you can imagine. Planting vegetables? That connects you to an ethereal spirit. Sweeping the floor? That clears the dust from your heart. Even carrying manure is seen as a step toward purity. The whole idea here is that true spiritual practice is grounded in simple, dedicated, real-world action. And underneath all of these actions, there's one core principle. So it's not just about going through the motions. It's about cultivating a certain inner state. A good heart that naturally produces good thoughts and extends kindness to every single living thing. Humility and goodwill, that's the fuel for this entire journey. Now, this is where things get really, really unique. After laying out this whole path, the text presents this incredibly inclusive and frankly surprising list of guides who can help you along the way. So first, it honors Buddha. It recognizes him as the pioneer, the trailblazer who first discovered and mapped out the path to enlightenment, or the way. Next up, the text presents Jesus, and it uses this really striking phrase, the first God in the world. It sees his teachings as another direct route to the kingdom of heaven, making him another totally valid guide for humanity. And finally, it brings in Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese sage who wrote the Tao Te Ching. His wisdom, which is distilled into these really profound proverbs, is held up as yet another powerful method for returning to the great Tao, or the fundamental flow of the universe. So we've got the path and we've got the guides, but where exactly are we all going? What's the ultimate goal of all this work? The answer is just beautiful, and again, totally unexpected. The destination is not some solemn, serious heaven. It's a return
to a playful, childlike way of being. The text is suggesting that the absolute highest spiritual attainment is to see all of life, the good, the bad, the illusions, as a game, a kind of cosmic game that we are here to play, not to suffer through.
And here it is. This is the grand prize, the immortal realm, the kingdom of heaven, nirvana. It's not some faraway place you go after you die. According to this text, it's just being happy. Freedom from the ego, freedom from the burden of the intellect. That leads directly to joy. And that joy is the destination.
So we'll end by turning the text's core message right back to you. If life is a game and happiness is the ultimate goal, what rules are you playing by? Are they the rules of ego and logic, or are they the rules of humility, kindness, and play? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.